What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. This is episode number 84, and we start today's stuff with a brief look at the league table, heading into our first game today away at the Etihad Stadium. 15 games in, we're 7 points clear of Liverpool, and right now our first opponents today are 10 points behind us. Manchester City once again going for the Premier League title this season, trying to hold off Liverpool and stop the Reds from getting that famous, what will be unprecedented, historic quadruple, taking on Guardiola's side. Well, they'll be hoping to get back in the title race in this game here, and only a win for them you'd think would do, even so early on in the season with a double-digit deficit. But heading into the game on Wednesday night, I had the luxury of resting all my players against Shakhtar Donetsk in our win over the Ukrainian side by 2-0. Manchester City, heading into the game, wouldn't have done so. You would have seen by their lineup, they had very tired legs out there. So heading into the game, I was thinking, right, our side's going to be fitter, our side's going to be fresher, and oftentimes in games like this, it shows, especially in the late game situations. But in the early situation of the game, oh my goodness. 16 minutes in, what were we talking about in the last episode? Who's the best goalkeeper in FIFA? Guys, I know who I'm choosing for my fantasy career mode team. Edouard Mendy. Triple save from Edouard Mendy. Keeping it goalless in the early stages, and then the other end, Edison saying, come on Doxy boy, you haven't used me yet. Great stop by the Brazilian. Still 0-0 after a really frenetic start to the game here in the Northwest. So it's still dead on to 0-0, but there was no chance this game was going to finish goalless. Man City were creating some really good chances. Once again, though, the man between the sticks who's taken the armband this year with Kante dropping to the bench. Edouard Mendy with another incredible save, his fourth in the first half alone, and then right before the break he does it again. Phil Foden and Guardiola thinking, what have we got to do to beat this man? Once again, it's Mendy with the save. 5 in the first half, and we're still deadlocked at 0-0. And in the second half, I brought him some fresh legs off the bench. Jasper Whitehouse in from the Saints, and Marcus Thuram both coming off the bench as well. And 6 minutes after the restart, what did I allude to just a moment ago? In games like this, where one team is clearly fitter and fresher than the other, oftentimes it's not what happens in the first half, but it's what happens in the second. The later stages of the game, when the players are tiring, but the other team are fit and fresh. Well, it's the boys off the bench with an abundance of energy who combine for the first goal. Jasper Whitehouse turns Milan Skriniar, whips the ball in, and there is Marcus Thuram, the Frenchman, who is first in the league this season. Chelsea in front, and again, the fitness and the fatigue really showed in the second half of this game, like I expected it to do. All I needed to do in the first half was weather Man City's storm. They used up all their energy in the first half, and in the second they were far too tired. 66 minutes in, we had the fitter team, we had the fresher team, we had the fresh legs off the bench, and they didn't just combine for the first goal, but the second as well. Marcus Thuram repays the kid, Jasper Whitehouse in from the Saints, and the Youth Academy grad from the St Mary's Academy makes it 2, and the boys off the bench show that fitness and freshness is far superior than fatigue. I mean, obviously. 15-minute double, 2-0 Chelsea, and like I said, Man City, they had all their chance in the first half, but in the second half they were too tired to create anything. But Mendy's still my man of the match though. Without his saves in the first half, we definitely wouldn't have won that game. But that's definitely something I would recommend to you guys as well. If you are going into a game and you realise that your opponents have a team that's not as fit as yours, don't use up all of your energy in the first half. You know, don't burn your players out in the first 45 minutes. The second half is where the difference is going to be made, because their players are going to be so much more tired. They're not going to be able to attack or press with as much intensity, and you can really reap the benefits of having a fitter side in the second half and in late game situations as well. Exactly what happened there. We get the big win, and a massive one away at the Etihad Stadium. So 16 games in, still top of the table, still undefeated. Following game, midweek, now back home, Manchester United. And the worst possible start. Man of the match against Manchester City, but concedes in 17 minutes. Can't blame him for the goal, but it was frustrating. He couldn't stop his shot because I didn't want to see him score against me. It's Oscar. Yeah, Oscar. Once a Blue, then moved out to China, and now he's back in the Premier League with Manchester United. Opens to scoring 17 minutes in with his first of the year, and 8 minutes afterwards, Victor Osimhen doubles the lead, and we're 2-0 down inside the opening half an hour to Manchester United. And I thought, you know what, it's okay. Don't hit the panic button. Very recently, we were down at a break to Brighton. So we've been in this position before where we've been trailing at the break here at the Bridge. We can come back like we did against Graham Potter's side, but I've got to get some early chances in the second half. 3 minutes after the restart, Mendy keeps it at 2-0 and prevents the scoreline from becoming too big of a gap for me to come back from. And from that, we come on the break. Callum Hudson-Odoi down the left-hand side, gets round his man, and smacks it home as well. This guy, not a great start to the season, but still a really important player for me in this squad. Gets us back in the game, half deficit. I thought, right, here we go. Momentum on our side. Like I mentioned against Man City, the second half is where the fitness is really going to prove to make the difference. It's 2-1. We're back in the game. We can't afford to go back 2 goals down again. 64 minutes in. That's exactly what would happen. Ball rolled through, Jadon Sancho, and the former Dortmund winger turns in from close range. I'm on the sidelines trying to motivate my boys, but for the second time in the game, I'm trailing by 2. And I couldn't see us pulling off a Real Madrid. I couldn't. I thought, I'll give it my best, don't get me wrong. We're not a side to give up, but 14 minutes to go. Still down by 2 goals. Hudson-Odoi with some great dribbling gets around his man, and I felt I had to score at that moment there if we were to have any chance of battling back to claim at least a point. Good stop by De Gea. Keeps us still down by 2 goals, and with a final chance of the game, Strakosha in goal, not De Gea, we would get ourselves 1 goal down once again. Jong Sang been off the bench for his 3rd goal in as many games, but unfortunately it came in vain, and there it is. It is over. We hadn't lost a game in almost a whole calendar year, but we couldn't get to January without a defeat. Tough game. It came down to who was more clinical in the end. That was the Red Devils, and there it is. After 16 games without a loss in this year's Premier League, we will not be pulling off an Arsenal 2003-2004 invincible season. Our first loss of the season. Liverpool closed the gap to 6 points. And that is so frustrating because it wasn't a game where I got dominated. I mean, I got carved open a few times, don't get me wrong, but I thought I played quite well in that game. Not too bad, but in the end, that goes to show you just how good the AI can be at times where, you know, they just need that one chance to get a goal. And because they're going to be more clinical than you are, you cannot allow them to open you up too many times like I did there. My defense just a bit too fragile, and in the end that told the story. Final score 3-2, and there it is. We will not have an invincible season this year with the Blues. Gutted. Definitely had a chance to do it this year as well. Just couldn't do it. Couldn't even get to the halfway point. Anyway, for the following game, Norwich away, Carrow Road, taking on the Canaries. Obviously, as we know, real life, already relegated to the Championship, and I was thinking, right, okay, we gotta get back to winning ways here, and I need some luck. I feel I need something to go my way. Well, this was not the start I wanted. 8 minutes into the game, and it's his 3rd injury of the season. Christian Pulisic, Mr. America, forced off with injury, and Marcus Thuram comes on, and I was thinking the stars are on, you know, the stars are aligned, the writing's on the wall. It's going to be back-to-back defeats, and Liverpool are going to close the gap to 4 points. Nope, not going to let it happen. From the very next phase of play, from the drop ball, which is kicked back to Edouard Mendy, we pass our way forward, and on the other side of the flank, it's Dembele getting just his 1st goal of this season in the Premier League, drilling it past Angus Gunn and giving us the lead. And I was thinking, after that loss to Manchester United, I've just got to dominate this game now. Like, I've lost to the Red Devils. My undefeated season chance is gone. We got Christian Pulisic going down, possibly for an extended period of time. I've got to take out my anger here on Norwich City. You know, when Man City thrashed Newcastle last week 5-0 on the back of getting knocked out by Real Madrid in, let's be honest here, heartbreaking fashion, they responded with that massive win over Eddie Howe's side. That was going to be Norwich. Norwich were going to be my Newcastle in this game. I was going to do everything I could to win big, especially after Pulisic went down very early. And after we got ourselves our second goal, we got 3 goals up 4 minutes after the restart. Tammy Abraham with the finish bags our third, and that would surely confirm we were going to get a big win here at Carrow Road. The question was, would we be able to get a clean sheet in this game? Well, yes, just thankfully, because I want to see Mendy win the Golden Glove again this year as well. Amazing save on the 1-on-1, then from the rebound fired wide, and would hold on for the 3-0 win, the clean sheet, and the big 3 points as well. So yeah, back on track there against the Canaries. I had to thrash them in that game. They dominated possession, but we dominated the scoreline. 3-0 the final score. Big victory, and just what we needed on the back of losing our unbeaten record, now invincible season possibility going in the last game against Manchester United. Back on track there, but the question was, how bad was the injury going to be for Christian Pulisic? His third of the season. The first was a concussion, the second was a bruise, but the third injury for Christian Pulisic is a bit more serious, I'm afraid. Yep, dislocated shoulder for Christian Pulisic, done for 2 months. And that's such a big blow as well, because he is a big part of our front three. 10 goals and 6 assists in 15 games in the Premier League this year. He's now up to 91 overall, but we won't see him again until around February time, I would say. That's a big blow there. We'll miss some big games as well. And whilst I mentioned before, the squad depth we have on the wing is probably our best position in terms of depth. I mean, if Pulisic is down, then we chuck in Hudson-Odoi. And if, Havertz is down, then we chuck in Dembele. And if Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi are down, then we chuck in Marcus Thuram. And if Havertz and Dembele are down, then we chuck in the kid Jasper Whitehouse. We've actually got great depth on the wing. But when one of your first 11 players and one of the first names on the team sheet is injured, it's still not good news. I guess, again, the only good news is knowing that the cover we've got in that position means it's not as damaging as it possibly could be. I trust Callum or Marcus to come in on that left-hand side and be, if not just as good as Pulisic, not much worse either. So for the following game, our final one today, midweek, Leeds United, Stamford Bridge. Last time we were here, our undefeated streak was ended by the Red Devils. So I couldn't afford a cup set in this game. Leeds, Jesse Marsh's side, relegated to the Championship last season, and they are top right now and dominating the second tier of English football. And they've still got a lot of their key players still there as well. Jack Harrison is still there. Dan James is still there. Tyler Roberts is still there. And you would have seen on the other flank as well, the man taking this free kick, Rafinha, is still there. Rafinha is now 86 overall. Yeah, he's still in the Championship with Leeds United. No wonder they're dominating the Championship right now. So taking them on at Stamford Bridge, they would have been sniffing a cup set here, knowing that Pulisic is down, knowing that Martinez is down, and obviously as well, we've just had our undefeated season ended by the Red Devils at this very ground 7 days ago. So Leeds fancying their chances of getting to the semi-finals, but pulling off a cup set here. Well, we took the early lead. Nick Pope made a couple of great saves to keep us still leading by 1, and after I missed a sitter there, and we still only had the 1 goal lead, I felt I needed to get a second, and we would right before the break. Cross dinked into the middle, and there is Mason Mount. Hasn't scored a goal in a while now, Mount. Well, now he's back on the score sheet with a well-executed volley. Tucks it in, bottom corner. Love the camera angle. Chelsea 2, Leeds 0. And at half-time I thought, okay, alright. That Manchester United game was a blip. We thrashed the Canaries. We're going to take out Leeds in the cup as well as Jasper Whitehouse hits the post here. We're going to be alright. We're going to be okay. The invincible season is gone, but the treble and quadruple dreams are still very much alive. Final score 2-0. Kai and Mason, 2 of our regular starters, getting the win in this game. I didn't want to take chances, hence my strong lineup for that one there. We do get the victory, and we are through to the EFL Cup semi-final. It's the only domestic honour I haven't won in the save so far. Well, this might be my best and potentially only chance to win it. this year in Season 5. We're 6 points clear of Liverpool, 1 game away from the halfway point. As you can see, they're our final opponents of December as well, taking them on at the bridge. If they win the game, they'll cut the gap to 3. If we win it, we'll extend it to 9. The invincible season might have gone, but the quadruple dreams are still very much alive. But a lot is going to depend on our next few weeks, I feel. But that will end today's episode of the Realistic Career Mode, guys. Big thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, if you hadn't, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of the Realistic Career Mode, featuring the biggest game of the season so far, Liverpool at home. Very soon.